Okay, kids, we are in day 2 of settlement talks. Court, New York, Baldoni, Lively, and the rest of the crew. Now, different people have been focusing on different aspects of these 2 days of court, not the least of which is the outfits which they've shown up in. Is there something psychologically at play here, or is it total coincidence? First, we have to take a look at our boy Baldoni, popping out, looking fresh, even though his face reads like he's been in an 8-year war over the past 2 years, which of course he has. He's still popping in and looking fresh, looking nice. Beautiful wife right there supporting him. They look like an adorable couple, smiling. As opposed to Ms. Lively, who shows up solo and maybe wearing what looks like a shout out to her husband Ryan Reynolds' attire from the It Ends With Us premiere. Now, more on Ryan Reynolds later, of course, but here people are talking about this obvious color scheme, or what could look like a color coordination. Is this something that was planned? Is this something that was talked about with stylists beforehand? No one really knows. We will say that it is highly unlikely that these 2 coordinated this in any way, but people like having a laugh about it, what have you. Now, what is more likely is that these 2 quote-unquote Hollywood stars have stylists. They have people in their fashion corners. And these people know things like what color schemes represent, especially in clothing. Green, calming temperatures down. The pinks and the lighter colors, meaning that you're approachable, effervescent, that everything is light. Trying to bring a sense of lightness to this whole thing that has weighed so heavy for so long now. Is this a plan? Are they going in accordance with Hollywood stylists and what they're saying? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But is that even really the point of why we're here? Why we're here is trying to get down to the truth about what happened. And so what's interesting for me here, which has been the talk of these past 2 days, is, of course, where is Mr. Reynolds? Now, he has been posting all over his Instagram and socials that he is caught up with his soccer team, football, Wrexham, and they're doing all kinds of stuff there, and I'm sure he's probably posting so much to get the attention off of this matter, and maybe he was preemptively doing it knowing that he wasn't going to be here, and people would say, oh, well, he's busy with his soccer football team over there, yada yada. But, of course, with the run of bad press he's had lately, no one is really speaking that way about it. What they are saying is that Blake is flying solo, and it's strange that Ryan Reynolds is not there. Not because he isn't a successful Hollywood star and businessman who has other things to do, but because of this anger. Remember, I released a video that I did about his anger and what he said in regards to, you should be more angry, and playing this part. Yes, I mean playing this part, the part of the angered, disgraced husband that is storming in and sticking up for his wife and supporting, so forth and so on. Well, that narrative would dictate that perhaps you should be here, popping out of the car first, opening the door for her, extending your arm like a gentleman, walking, like someone else we see, Mr. Baldoni, with grace, with poise, with dignity, with a sense of determination, because you were standing up for what's right. You're standing up for truth and justice. You're standing up for your lady, your queen. But he's not even here. Just doesn't even show up. Now, some other people have said that, Wrexham Schmexham, he owns the team, he can do whatever he wants, he can come and go as he pleases, which is true, by the way. And some people are saying that he's a coward, that he can't stand to be in a room with all this mess where he doesn't retain all of the power and control, and that he is too big of a coward to show up, face the negative publicity that he's been reining in. And the guy's got a point, the one's saying that. Now, do we know if that's true or not? No, of course not. But we can look at some of his recent behavior in these writings and the things that have been going around online. We're getting a clearer picture of who Mr. Reynolds actually is behind closed text and emails, as it be. So, are we really that surprised that the man isn't showing up for his wife on an important day? I mean, what do we really expect him to do from here on out? I'm saying this because I just finished a longer analysis video on an email that he wrote that'll be dropping in the morning, if I can cut it tonight. But I wanted to go ahead and jump on here and talk about this since I've got Mr. Reynolds on the brain and his toxicity that seems to leak out everywhere he goes, which may be the other side of this. PR team, of course, they are very, very concerned about image. They always have been. They especially are now. that their reputations are being called into question. It may be strategy as far as the PR and the attorneys. They're like, you know what? Your man's a little toxic right now. Maybe leave him back with the men, the football team, and they can do their thing, and he can post selfies online and do the annoying things that he does, and you can just come in and handle business and scoot out. It's hard to say. I don't even know what I would do in that situation as far as advising someone on where to go, but I know exactly what I would do if my wife were in that situation. You couldn't drag me away from that courthouse. Of course, I can also, or at least I would like to say, that I wouldn't be married to someone the likes of Blake Lively, but I mean, if I'm being honest, unfortunately, in my past, I've dated people like that, so I can't even say that. But, you know, I didn't even want to show up to my own court hearings back in the day, so who knows? But it seems odd that he's not there, right? It seems odd. That was day one. Day two, Blake was not in attendance. She didn't have to be there. Justin arrived with his lovely spouse, and they both smiled, looked great, seemed in good spirits. And that's actually what I more so want to look at and talk about in this video. Justin Baldoni, supported, walking with Emily Baldoni. Jamie Heath, walking in, smiles, his wife on his arm, loving, supporting. Blake, flying solo. Now we're here today. Blake is not. But on day two, this is more about the Jones v. Abel debacle and that whole mess. And Justin is a defendant, and that's so he has to be there. But Blake has really not much to do with that, so she's not in attendance for day two. But a lot of those people were there, different reasons. Some are alone. Most of them are cold. But Jamie and Justin, those are the two men that are in question. Those are the two men that all of this really revolves around, stems from their behavior, or perhaps lack thereof, because it's these two men that are being accused of SH in the workplace, both of them. And it just happens to be the two men that are with their wives, with their women, who are loving and supporting. And we have to give that credit to both of those wives for being there, for standing up, for standing true, and standing in for what they believed in. Primarily, their men and the character of those two men. Now, does that say anything certainly negative about Blake, Ryan, etc.? That's up for you to decide. I just want to call attention to these two women in this video and talk about how much do you think they've been through over the past year? What battles have they had to fight and face? What challenges have they had within their own families and parenting and talking to friends, parents of the kids and whatnot? What battles have they faced in their own minds with anxiety, worry, being in the spotlight, being in the spectacle of such a heavy and draining and ugly affair? What have they had to face in their own hearts as they stand next to a man whose entire moral compass is in question, and to stand there with a head held high in their beliefs of who they know that man to be? What battles have they had to face in their own sadness, their own fears, their own anxiety about what would happen to their men, to their families? The reaches of this thing, we're not just talking about two celebrities disagreeing and fighting over whatever happened or didn't happen in a workplace. These implications are very deep and very far-reaching. It has the power to destroy many lives. It's brought a lot of negativity, a lot of difficult times that needn't be, to a lot of people. It's not just the people directly involved. That's something that we forget in tragedy and in trauma, is that we're not alone in that trauma. We're not alone in this tragedy at all. We have people that love us. We exist in relationship, not just to ourselves and not just to our issues and our problems. We exist in relationship, unified in one another, hopefully through love. And that love, those bonds, that relationship is going to be tested. Whether or not you believe in anything, spiritual or supernatural, whatever, doesn't matter. The test, it doesn't have to be a conscious test. We know that that's just the fact of life. Ups and downs, ins and outs, ebbs and flows. Bonds are going to be tested. How do you hold up marriage vows when the unthinkable literally cascades down upon your entire family? How do you uphold this person that you are devastatingly in love with and have chosen to live life with, commit to, build a life with, have children, raise a family? You've inherited their family, and all of a sudden you're thrown in something that there's no compass, there's no rule book for how to handle something of this magnitude. So, as we watch these people traipse in and out of court, let's remember that there are at least 2 women, and of course, friends, family, many other people that are sitting around on the sidelines who are going through hard times, that are facing challenges, and that are really digging down into the depths of their heart and their soul, who they really are, to figure out, how do I face this with dignity, truth, justice, and an open heart? It's not easy. Lastly, let's give a shout out to our boy, Brian Freeman is exiting the courthouse, and one of the journalists there on the ground asked him how everything went, and he does his best as he's walking away to be polite. But she, of course, asks, how's it going? We coming back tomorrow? What about a settlement? Is there going to be a trial? Yeah, there's going to be a trial, and he's looking forward to it. That's why Freeman's the GOAT. Let's give it up for him. He's got a lot of work, too. He made a lot of money, no doubt. But he's a G. He's a real one. So, give those guys support if you already haven't. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, I've got a piece that explores Ryan Reynolds' email to Colleen Hoover in August of 2024. It's going to be dropping tomorrow. And then I'm going to do a further dissection on another aspect involving him. But stay tuned, stay involved, and let's keep conversations going, not just necessarily about the attire people are wearing, but how the people in the clothes are showing up in their hearts and in their minds and in their character. Until next time, friends, be well, stay curious, lead life with an open heart. See you next time.